Wassce 2025 Core Mathematics Paper 2. Question number 6. The estimated cost of building a restaurant was $64,000. It was made up of the cost of labor, cost of materials, and the contractor's charges in the ratio 12:15:5 respectively. Now, at the start of the construction, the cost of labor increased by X%, cost of materials increased by 2X% due to inflation. But then the contractor's charge still remained unchanged. So after the increase, the cost of labor was two-thirds the cost of materials. So we have to determine A, the value of X, and then B, the new cost of building the restaurant. So there's a question under application of ratio and proportion. At the same time, we have to apply percentages and some algebra. So let's get started. So we are analyzing the question. So we have a contractor who was given a task to build a restaurant. So what the contractors mostly do is that even before they start with the actual construction, they do an estimate. So in his estimate, he came up with a total cost of $64,000. So that was the total cost of building the restaurant according to the contractor. But with this total cost, the total cost was made up of three different categories of items. So the first one was the cost of labor. So the cost of labor was one of the categories of items. We also have the cost of materials. Cost of material. And then the last one was the contractor's charge. So how much you charge for building the restaurant. So this cost was given in a particular ratio. So the ratio was 12:15:5. Now the next thing we do is that let's find the total ratio. Let's find the total ratio. So the total ratio will be the sum of the individual ratios. So 12 plus 15 plus 5. Remember 15 plus 5 is 20, and then 20 plus 12, that is 32. So the total ratio, which is 32, must be equivalent to the total estimated cost of building the restaurant, which is $64,000. So total ratio goes with total costs. So 32 goes with $64,000. Now the next thing we do is that we are going to calculate the actual cost or the actual estimated cost of labor, the actual estimated cost of material, and then the actual estimated cost of the contractor's charge. So let's begin with the estimated cost of labor. So the estimated cost of labor. Now, if the ratio 32 is giving us a total of $64,000, then the ratio for labor, which is 12, must also give us a cost in dollars. So to calculate that, that will be 12 out of 32 multiplied by $64,000. So That will be cost of labor. We have 12 out of 32 multiplied by $64,000. Let's find out the estimated cost of labor. So we have 12 out of 32 multiplied by 64,000. So that is $24,000. So the estimated cost of labor was $24,000. Next, let's also find the estimated cost of material. The estimated cost of material. So if the ratio 32 is giving us $64, then the ratio for material, which is 15, must also give us a certain cost in dollars. So that is 15 out of 32 multiplied by $64,000. So the estimated cost of material will be 15 out of 32 multiplied by $64,000. Let's also verify our answer. So the only thing that will change here is the ratio for material. So instead of 12, let's substitute 15. So we have 15 out of 32 times 64,000, and that is 30,000. The estimated cost of material was $30,000. And then lastly, let's also find out the estimated cost of the contractor's charge. How much he will charge for building the restaurant. So we go by the same approach. The ratio for charge, that is 5 out of 32 multiplied by $64,000. And so the same thing, what will change is the ratio for charge. Instead of 15, we have 5. So 5 out of 32 multiplied by $64,000. And this is giving us $10,000. So this was the initial estimated cost of the 3 different items that will be needed to build the restaurant. Next, there was an increase due to inflation. So after the increase, what happened? After the increase, so after the increase, we are told that the cost of labor increased by X% and the cost of materials increased by 2X%. So now, let's say if I ask you to increase $500 by 20%, what will be your answer? So we know that in percentages, the original quantity corresponds to 100 or 100%. So 100 goes with the original quantity. So the original amount of money was $500. But this time we want to increase 100 by 20%. So when you increase 100 by 20%, what will be the result? So let's pick it from this angle. Let's say we have the number 5. If I ask you to increase 5 by 2, increase 5 by 2, what will be your answer? That is 7. Increase goes with addition. So if you are to increase 100 by 20, then we have 100 plus 20, which is 120. So if 100 is giving us $500, then 120 will also give us a certain amount in dollars. So we have 120 out of 100 times $500, and this will give us the actual money that we are looking for. But this time, after the increase, let's find out the new cost of labor. We know that the cost of labor increased by X%. So what will be the new cost of labor? Let's work it out here. So we know that in percentages, the original estimated cost of labor was $24,000, goes with 100%. So 100 goes with 24,000. This time we are increasing 100 by X%, 100% by X%. So that becomes addition. Remember, increase goes with addition. So we have 100 plus X%. So if 100 is giving us $24, then 100 plus X% must also give us a certain amount of money. So how do we work it out? So that would be 100 plus X divided by 100 multiplied by $24,000. Let's pay attention to this. I want the decimal form. I want us to use a decimal form. That makes the calculation easier. So 100 plus X divided by 100. This can be written as 100 on 100 plus X on 100. And we know that 100 plus 100, 100 divided by 100, that is 1. And then X divided by 100, that will give us 0.01x. So that is the expression we are going to use in place of this. So we have 1 plus 0.01x multiplying the $24,000. So $24,000. Let's also find the new cost of material. The new cost of material after the increase. So the new cost of material. Remember, material increased by 2x%. That is the new cost of material, 2x%. We know that in percentages, the original cost or the initial estimated cost of material was $30,000. So that must go with 100%. So 100 goes with $30,000. This time we have 2x% increase. So that is 100 plus 2x. So if 100% is giving us $30,000, then 100 plus 2x% must also give us a cost in dollars. So we have 100 plus 2x divided by 100 multiplied by $30,000. And as I said, I want us to always represent it using the decimal form. So 100 plus 2x divided by 100. This can be written as 100 divided by 100 plus 2x on 100. And then 100 divided by 100, that is 1. 100 divided by 100, we have 1. And then 2x divided by 100, we have 0.02x. So that is 1 plus 0.02x multiplying $30,000. So multiplying 30,000. So this expression you see will give us the new cost of material. But then after the increase, what happened? So after the increase due to inflation, so we know that after the increase, the cost of labor was two-thirds the cost of material. Now this is the new cost of labor. That is the cost of labor after the increase. That is 1 plus 0.01x multiplying 24,000. So this cost here was two-thirds the cost of material, which is giving us 1 plus 0.02x multiplying 30,000. So now let's expand. 24,000 multiplied by 1, we have 24,000 plus 0.01 multiplied by 24,000. So 0.01 multiplied by 24,000. We have 240x. This will give us 240x. And this must be equal to two-thirds multiplied by, so 1 multiplied by 30,000, we have 30,000. And then 0.02x multiplied by 30,000. 0.02 multiplied by 30,000. We have 600x. So we can still simplify. I want us to expand this bracket with two-thirds. So we have 24,000 plus 240x. This should be equal to, so when we expand, we have 2 out of 3 multiplied by 30,000. So we have 20,000 plus two-thirds multiplied by 600x. So 2 out of 3 multiplied by 600. So that will give us 400x. So we can group like terms, numbers on the left, variables on the right. So 24,000 minus 20,000. This must be equal to 400x minus 240x. So 24,000 minus 20,000. This will give us 4,000. And then 400x minus 240x. I think that is 160x. So since we are looking for x, we can divide both sides by 160, here by 160. So 160 will cancel out, leaving 4,000 divided by 160, 25. So 25 is equal to x. 25 is equal to x. So we can conclude that the value of x is 25. The value of x is 25. So that is for A. So A, we have the value of x as 25. Now B, we want the new cost of building the restaurant. So the new cost of building the restaurant will be the sum of the new cost of the 3 different quantities after the increase. So for the cost of, let's begin with the new cost of labor. So we know that the new cost of labor, this was the expression. We had 1 plus 0.01, but we know the value of x as 25. So let's substitute 25 in place of x. Multiplied by 24,000. So let's compute on the calculator. We have 1 plus 0.01, 1 plus 0.01 multiplying 25. So we have 1.25 multiplying 24,000. So 1.25 multiplying 24,000, that is 30,000. 30,000 dollars. So after the increase, the new cost of labor will be 30,000. Now let's also calculate the new cost of material after the increase. So the new cost of material This is the expression for the new cost of material. We have 1 plus 0.02, x is still 25, multiplying 30,000. So 1 plus 0.02 multiplying 25. 3 on 2, that is 1.5, multiplying 30,000. 1.5 multiplying 30,000. So that is $45,000. So we have the new cost of material as $45,000. So finally, the new cost of building the restaurant. The new cost of building the restaurant. So that is the new cost of labor, $30,000, plus the new cost of material, $45,000, plus what is the cost of the contractor's charge? Remember, after the increase, we were told that after the increase, the contractor's charge remained the same. So the contractor's charge still remained $10,000. Remember, during the initial stage, the cost of the contractor's charge was $10,000. And if after the increase, the cost remains the same, then it means that the cost is still $10,000. So let's finalize our answer and see the final result. $30,000 plus $45,000 plus $10,000. So that is $85,000. $85,000. So that is for the B part of the question. Thank you.